Welcome to My Favorite Bitch, where we talk openly about the good, the bad, and the oh my fucking god ugly of raising dogs, and sometimes other non-canine pets, including the human ones. We might talk about poop, and we might swear, so fair warning. Thanks for joining the pack. Now let's get this ball rolling. For a game of fetch, of course. Hey everybody, welcome to My Favorite Bitch, where we share honest tales about the good, the bad, and the oh, what the hell did she do now, ugly, of raising dogs and other pets. I am so excited to have in the doghouse today Cindy Myer. She is owner of the Myer Country Care for Pets, and she is, oh my God, so many things that we're going to talk about today. We've had a little technical difficulty, so she is outside, which is even better because we'll have some footage of some puppies that we can insert here certainly a little bit later. But to start us off, Cindy, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where are you? And who are your favorite bitches and mutts?
Well, first, I love all dogs, pretty much. I say pretty much because I have met two, maybe three, since I started boarding dogs that I don't care for. And the feeling was mutual, so it's okay. Yeah, there's always got to be a couple. So I am in central Illinois near the Indiana border. We have a breeding kennel. I sometimes board family dogs and friends' dogs and things just because they need a safe place to go.
Nice.
There's not really anywhere around here that's not in a veterinarian's office, and that's where sick dogs go. So we built our kennel a little bit big to accommodate that. We've got plenty of room, and we aren't fancy, but we are clean, and we love dogs. So
it looks beautiful behind you. Just from what little I can see and behind you, it looks lovely.
Yeah. This is my front yard. The backyard is even better.
Nice.
Front yard. We are I'd like to say in the middle of nowhere, but we are only 15 minutes from a major city and 15 minutes from another smaller town, just the other way. So in 15 minutes, I can be with just about any resource that you could possibly want.
Awesome.
So I am a retired teacher. I used to say I was a retired teacher, and I have to amend that a little bit because I did leave the public school about 4 years ago. I decided to raise puppies and plants. But then in July, I started yeah, it's been a dream come true. I absolutely love both aspects of that. There's just a lot of love and wonder to that creation of life, whether it's a plant coming from a seed or puppies coming from the mama. And I love all aspects of that. And then of course there's the nurturing and the teaching that I never felt slighted because I was still teaching puppies. It was all good. But an opportunity came along back in July, and I am now back in education. However, I am more of an administrator now. I am the administrator for a college in a prison in the state of Illinois.
Wow.
So it's truly a strange.
That is definitely a strange combo. Although as somebody with a day job and a dream job, I totally relate. So that, and they're a little bit not really maybe paired very well either. But yeah, I get it. So tell me about your favorite pets. To who you got there on the old Myer Ranch.
Boy. Well, since we're outside, you can actually meet some of the Jack.
Nice.
Here. This is my Jack.
Hi, Jack. Oh, nice. Oh,
Jack is all about the scratchies. So
now, what is Jack? Is Jack what is his breed?
He is a miniature American Shepherd. Awesome. And you'll hear me use the term miniature American Shepherd, which is the AKC name for them, because our dogs are AKC registered. But you'll hear me use the term mini Aussie interchangeably. And the purists amongst the dog people will cringe when they hear that. They really are registered separately, but they came from the same beginnings. There are some minor
silver labs too. They go, no, you don't really have well, she's actually a chocolate lab. It's just with a variation.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Reba, come here. But yeah, so there's some minor differences in their breed standards, I guess. And it depends on which registry you're talking to, which state you're going by. But we go by AKC around here. They've been a recognized breed since early Jack Jack. Now they're going to play, and they're noisy, as you can tell. They're going to play, but you're not going to believe this. Can't even tell if you got them or not.
They're adorable.
But the red, I'll try to get her over here after they're not wrestling. That's Reba, my mama. Come here, Sky Girl. She's not fighting. Come here. Jack's like, no hands.
So Sky, you said Sky is kind of the matriarch of the pack. So how does she? How is she manifest? Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous. For those of you only on audio, I'm sorry that you can't see these gorgeous dogs, but they are.
Sky Girl, come here. Yeah. All right. Oh, Rowan, quit. So Jack and Sky make our black-based pair. From those two, we can get the blue merle, like Sky's color with the speckles, or we can get Jack's black tricolors that he wears. And then there's also, I'm literally being pushed over here. There's also a red-based pair, which is Reba. There she is.
Oh, Reba. Reba's gorgeous. For anybody out there, go to the Myer Country Care for Pets Facebook.
Absolutely.
Page. You will see some photos. Oh, and there's a photo of Reba that's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, Reba with the fall foliage behind her is stunning, and I got to give full photo credit to my daughter for that one.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Oh, somebody's playing.
Yeah, could y'all go play somewhere else?
So what? Tell me a little bit about the miniature American Shepherd. So, because I'm not real familiar, I'm of course I've heard of the Aussie Shepherd. I believe the Aussie Shepherd is supposed to be the smartest. Or at the very top of the smart of the dog breeds.
They are, yeah, they're really high up on the list. Of course, there's people with the Malinois and German Shepherds and things who will argue differently. And I always say they're smart in different ways. I have a German Shepherd also, and he's just not out here right now. And he's smart. He's like having a 5-year-old in your house all the time, like permanent kindergartner.
Nice.
The Aussies, though, man, when you get a well-bred miniature American or mini Aussie who is engaged with humans, that is going to be the easiest dog you have ever trained in your life, because you show them once, maybe twice, and they got it.
No kidding.
No kidding.
And how big do they get?
Mini Americans are 20 to 40 pounds to be in standard, and height is limited, I think 14 to 18 inches, depending on male or female.
Okay.
So smallest is 14 inches tall, and the tallest would be 18 inches. Now, Reba is tall. She's on the tall side. She's at like that 18 inches. Hey. Sorry.
That's okay.
Had to break up dogs. She's on the tall side. Rowan is our shortest. My little red tri-boy is the shortest at 16 and a half. And then Jack is like 17 3/4. And Sky is right there at 16. So
yeah, so they kind of look like kind of a medium-sized dog.
Yeah. So and they can be a little heavier, a little lighter, depending on the lineage that you get from your breeder.
So what is so tell me about like the background. I mean, what were the shepherds just generally? Yeah. obviously herding. So yeah, I mean, are they still used today for actual herding?
Absolutely. The miniature version came about, it's credited to the horse people out west, because they wanted a smaller herding dog that could go on the road with them, could travel in the trailers or the trucks better, that could actually ride on the horses a little bit easier when they wanted to tote them around and to go out and get the cows and so forth.
Wow. So they actually ride the horses, like actually be on the horses with.
Yeah, they would actually put them on the horse with them. And then the horse would drape in front or behind the rider like a big saddlebag. And they would ride out to where the cattle were, and then they'd put the dog down, and then they'd bring them all up. And now some, I'm sure, preferred to run, and somebody will set me straight on that. But in general, they were bred down smaller and smaller, kind of by accident, I guess. And then people started realizing, like, boy, wouldn't it be nice if we had a reliably smaller version? So they started working on the breed. And that took about 20 years for them to breed down to a reliably small dog. And
That
so,
quick, that's amazing.
yeah, with our understanding of genetics now, it is phenomenal what we can do. As we genetically test all of our breeding dogs and a few of our puppies, just because I need to know, what's being passed down. But when I say genetically testing, we're testing for hair traits, we're testing for color, we're testing for health possibilities. There's a wide range of health issues that can be passed down through generations, and some things can even skip generations. So this dog might not be sick, gets bred, but passes that genetic makeup down to their offspring and so forth. So we, meaning us here when we breed, we want to make sure that we're pairing the mom and the dad who don't share a weakness. Like Reba's a little tall, so Rowan's a little short, and that's a great pair because that's going to even out to be, about the right height.
Yep.
But Rowan carries one recessive gene for one marker, and Reba carries a different recessive gene. And I would never put them together if they shared the same recessive gene, because then I might have puppies who are affected by an illness.
Right.
So for all those people who are watching and wondering, what do I ask a breeder about? That's one thing you want to ask about. You want to ask to see the genetic testing.
That's a great point. Cause I've talked a lot about, breeders and how I, there's a lot of unearned, unwarranted, a hate that goes out there for a lot of people that are just like, oh, you should really go and adopt. And I have really tried to champion for what I call a reputable breeder. And that's one aspect of, quote, a reputable, responsible breeder is, are they testing for those genetic markers too? And that was
absolutely
us as well with our dog. So tell me how you were in teaching. How did you get into, and I know you're kind of back in administrative, but how did you get into actually, breeding in this particular breed of dog, the miniature American Shepherd? How did that evolve? How did you go from school teacher to this?
Well, it was a 30-year process.
Wow.
It really was.
Of course.
We had
overnight success.
Yeah. We had Australian Shepherds, the standard size, for 30 years. Now we had the same lineage, mind you, like the same father, and then we would keep a puppy, and then we'd have the same mom, and we'd keep a puppy. And so we had the same lineage on and off as pets for 30 years. And then through a series of unfortunate events, we ended up dogless. And we're like, oh, my heart's broken because he was my boy. And because if you've ever had a really smart dog in your life, it's a lot like having that kindergartner around. And I said, I don't know if my heart can do Aussies again. We better do a different breed. So we got our German Shepherd. And it's like, oh boy, they might both have Shepherd in the name.
Whole different. Well, yeah. So tell me what is different? Because I mean, obviously size, but what is in your mind? What do you, when you think of the two, what are the biggest differences?
Well, the German Shepherd is, I don't want to say they're more independent thinking, because they're not. They just think differently. So the German Shepherd looks at something and says, that could be a threat. I'm going to watch you. And if you cross a line, he's on. He's powerful. He's built for protective. He's built to investigate and unravel the mysteries and to search things out. And he most certainly does that. I'm convinced that ours has police dog in his background somewhere genetically, because if we shoot a firearm, he's all over us until we let him go look, and he will go and he will find where that ammunition hit the dirt.
Wow.
He's not happy until he goes to find the bullet. The Australian Shepherds, they're equally intelligent, equally discerning, but they're more about, at least our dogs anyway, are more about, great, that's my human. How can I get them to do what I want?
Oh, so they're manipulators.
Yeah, they're more manipulative of the humans. They're like,
Wait,
listen,
are
I'd
they
like to.
related to Labradors? Because that's what my dog is like. She is like a kind of
Yeah,
an attention, a human whore, and she's very
yes,
much like, I'm gonna get you to do what I want you to do.
right. And they will work together too. By golly, it's the most crazy thing ever.
Oh, you
Our
mean your
puppies.
dogs are like they'll like
Oh
okay,
yeah,
we're having a little group here. We're gonna get together and figure out together.
yeah.
That's
Our
funny.
puppies learn to go over the gate, which is 32 inches high. Mind you, they were like 5 weeks old. Um,
Wow.
they learned to go over that gate because one couldn't reach it. So when he put his feet down, the next one put his feet on his back and said, "Ooh, I'm closer." And within 2 days, they were standing on each other,
OMG.
going over the gate. And I'm watching one right now
Little
who's about to
puppy
figure
ladder.
out how to go over the kennel gate that I've got on that back door.
Uh-oh. Well, if you have to take a break and go take care of them, just let me know. Well, that is
Well,
that is fascinating. So you got a shepherd and you realize, oh, this is different. So then
yeah.
what's the evolution of now you're breeding miniature
Well,
American shepherds?
we knew we wanted another Aussie. Okay, I knew I wanted another Aussie, and right about this time, I decided to leave teaching. And they're like, "Well, what are you going to do with all that free time?" And it's like, I think we should breed dogs. But it's going to be Aussies because I'm not breeding German shepherds. I can't handle that. I can't handle a pack of those bad boys running around. Oh,
Right.
here he comes. Come here, Siggy Pie. So this is Sigmund coming in here. Come here, Sig.
And Sigmund is your German shepherd?
Yep, that's
Oh,
there's my
oh,
Siggy
folks,
Pie.
what a gorgeous
Baby.
German shepherd.
I
Oh, he's
know.
a good boy. He's a good
Very
boy.
chatty. Yes, very chatty. Good job. So we started looking, and it's like, man, I'm not getting any younger. And by accident, I heard someone mention a miniature Australian Shepherd. And so I started looking into it. And the more I read, the more I liked. So we went to a show so that we could meet a few and make sure that my husband and I both agreed that they retained that Aussie attitude. And when you get amongst Australian Shepherd people and we talk about that Aussie attitude, that's the sass, that's the intelligence, the ability to think outside the box, work together and go over a fence.
Right.
Um, and what we found, it was absolutely the truth. It was absolutely the truth. And we were sold
So
and we started looking. And
you had never bred before.
years ago, with our standards, we would breed
Okay.
just when we wanted to keep one from our line.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we've had farm animals all of our lives.
Oh, so there
We've
you
done,
go.
yeah, we've done pigs and cows and goats. And at one point in time, we would hatch 400 chickens in the summer for the kids to take to 4-H. Different. I mean, they wouldn't take all 400 of them, but you'd have to hatch 400 to get a dozen a piece for 3 kids that were show worthy. So we've always been animal babies around here. So
Well, so I want to talk a little bit about and by the way, again, folks, go to Facebook and look up Myer Country Care for Pets. There's so much, you have such a great, you have like I follow a lot of breeders. I follow a lot of rescue sites. I follow trainers. Your Facebook page is so great because you have great information. You have information about the breeds. You have training links. You have funny memes, and a lot of great videos of your puppies. I don't know how those little round roly poly things get to be a dog that actually runs as fast as they do.
Yeah, I swear overnight sometimes. Overnight. Well, thank you. That's high praise indeed. And when I look for things is what's going to help the puppy parents be successful with our puppies. So, and some days you just need the giggle. You really do.
So tell me a little bit about because I have had a couple of friends who bred, but I wasn't intimately involved. And I mean, you don't have to go into like I know how they, read, act, but I mean, what is involved in, Suddenly you've got this, I mean, you've got this pregnant dog and she's now having puppies, and then you've got to do all this other stuff. And I know it's not just here you have a bunch of puppies and you feed them, and you do a lot more than that. So, walk me through a little bit, kind of the high level of, birth to, how does what you do.
Okay. Well, it starts a long time before we even breed the dogs. If you're doing it right, it should start a long time. There's the health testing, there's the routine vetting, and every litter before we breed, our girls and our boys, they go to the vet. We're making sure everybody's healthy. They're in a condition to do the thing that we're asking of them.
Right.
And after breeding, they're so spoiled all the time, but when you're the mama here, you get all the good stuff.
Oh, good.
We like to feed a really high quality kibble as our base, but I'm moving more and more towards feeding fresh food. The prices of kibble have skyrocketed, as everyone knows.
Yep.
But what everybody doesn't realize is that you can make a balanced homemade recipe for your dog, freeze it, far more economically than what most people think that you can. Now, obviously, if you're feeding a Chihuahua versus feeding a German Shepherd, there's a big difference in the quantity that you need. But if you go that route, I encourage you to find a canine nutritionist who's going to help you get the right balance in your food, because what you don't want is to create a problem by trying to eliminate a problem of poor kibble.
Right.
Which is why, for timing and cost purposes, I'm still feeding kibble as a base, but we supplement a lot. And the mamas who are expecting, they get the most supplementation. They get extra protein. They get extra fat because their body is burning so many calories. Everybody gets a daily vitamin called NuVet. NuVet Plus, it has a joint conditioning, like the glucosamine chondroitin that people talk about. We have the doggy version of that. It's a once a day, everybody gets the same pill, whether she's not bred or nursing. And I love not having to switch. I used to have 5 different products that I had to rotate between.
Yikes.
Depending on what stage of life they were in. Yeah, I can't keep track of all that. There's too much going on. There's way more good stuff that I should be doing than try to figure out who gets what pill. So one supplement for everybody, and it works fabulously. My German Shepherd over here is not well bred. He has lots and lots of allergies. He's constantly itchy, and he's allergic to fleas. So if he gets bitten by fleas, he breaks out with hives if he's not on medication. So finding something that helped him be able to eat most of the foods that we wanted to feed was a breakthrough, and that was what we did with that one. So they get lots of snuggles, of course, all the time, but the mamas get preferential seating on the laps.
As they should.
As they should. If you're preggers, then you've got more needs than everybody else.
Now, do the mamas ever display any weird, I'm doing this because I'm pregnant, weird behavior kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Such as
Reba's tell is counter surfing. She stays out of my stuff unless she's pregnant.
Oh.
And I swear, within a week of being bred, that girl is standing up on my counter, stealing whatever she can, getting in the trash cans, dragging the toys out.
Wow.
She never really offers to accost the other dogs to take their food unless she's pregnant. And then she's in everybody's bowl. And it's like, I know she's not that hungry because I know the calories that she's getting. I know the supplements you're getting. I know that you're being fed 3 times a day instead of 2. Why are you eating her food? Because she can. The girl's hungry. It's all her.
Maybe it's the dog. Yeah, that's the dog equivalent of craving pickles, or as my mother used to tell me, how she craved bologna for when she was pregnant with me, I guess.
Yeah. Is that wind too much on there? I can't tell.
No, it's good. It's good. So,
right.
so you got crazy pregnant mamas and
yeah. Sky Girl's thing is she hoards toys. She will gather every toy in the house and put them in her box.
Interesting. That's fascinating.
She's a resource gatherer.
Dog behavior is so fascinating, and you have such a unique perspective where you've got multiples in different, states where you can kind of observe all of that interaction and really the development from day one. It's a great, unique perspective that you
Well, I tell you,
have.
they have taught me a lot. They really have, because the dogs live in the moment. People don't give them credit for this. They live in the moment. It's like, they love you all the time, even if you accidentally stepped on their foot. They don't hold a grudge. They're like, okay, well, you moved your foot, so you didn't mean it. They've already forgiven you before you say, oh, I'm so sorry. They've already gotten over it. They're just moving on.
Yeah,
And
as I have said to many of my cohorts who say they rub their dog's nose in poop if it poops in the house, and I'm like, your dog pooped in the house an hour before you got home. They have no idea why you're doing that. They
absolutely. It means nothing to them other than they probably said, come here, and then rub their nose in it. So they're like, oh, when I come here, I know what happens.
Yeah.
We have a WWE SmackDown going over here.
I can hear it. That's awesome. So your mama has her babies, and you've got a big litter right now. What did you say? You have 7, which is
7. Yeah, that's 4 to 6 is the average, and Reba has outdone herself and gone with 7 this time.
Nice. So how old are they? How long do you normally keep them before you they go to their forever home?
Hold on. Stop.
Oh, the memories that you're bringing back. I have only one now.
Big one. Go on.
Segment.
We're gonna beat somebody in the house. Come on. Let's go.
Oh, that's funny. It sounds like me and my brothers and sisters. We were young.
Get in there, Rowan. Rowan, in there. Yep. In there. Okay. Just Rowan going, okay. That's all right. He was the one involved in all of this skullduggery, so it's okay. So I've forgotten where we were.
So you have 7. So mama gives birth.
Oh,
gotcha. So I think my question was, how old are they normally when they go to the forever home?
So there's actually a law in Illinois and a lot of other states that some people aren't aware of. And that is they have to be at least 8 weeks old to leave their mama. And a lot of people will travel out of state because like Missouri, 6 weeks old is fine with Missouri. And
that seems awful young.
I think that's way too young. They have a lot of learning left to do from their mom and their siblings. That's when they're going to be learning bite inhibition. They're going to learn social cues from the other dogs. So what you end up with are dogs who are socially awkward, to put it mildly. So we don't release puppies until at least 8 weeks. And I'm really not in a terrible hurry usually. Even up to 10 weeks is pretty okay. It's more work, yes, but it's pretty okay because they're still learning from the pack.
Right.
Here, how to grow up and how to be a dog instead of being a pain in the butt. So
how old are they usually when the mama just instinctively starts to wean them? Is that something or do you have to kind of prompt them to do that?
No, well, it depends on the mama. Some mamas would nurse them right up until you took them away and sent them to a different home. Our mamas are both really good. They start hardcore about 4 weeks old, cutting back their feeding opportunities. Sky girl. But they'll start about 4 weeks old, really restricting the opportunities for the puppies to nurse. And that's okay because about 3 weeks old, I start offering puppy mush that's got some goat's milk and some mushed up puppy food in it, and maybe some canned food just to get them eating a little bit of gruel. And then by week 4, when mama's really cutting back, they're eating pretty good on the dog food and the puppy gruel.
Nice.
And usually by 6 weeks, it might be a once a day thing that they get to have a big meal from mama. And it's usually at bedtime because mom wants to be comfortable when she goes to bed too. And I'm a big proponent of let the mamas do it. They were bred for this. They really do know what to do. And should we have a mama who doesn't know what to do, she's probably not going to be a mama here very long.
Right.
Because that's not a trait I really want to pass on. So I'm always kind of thinking, a generation or two down the road, because what if she's a rotten mama and I have to bottle feed the puppies, and I'm up, every 3 hours for the first 3 weeks of life just to get everybody through, which I'm up a lot those first 3 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I have a camera. I spy on them. I sleep in the same room as them for the first week because I'm listening for sounds of distress. How often does mama get, how often is she feeding them? We weigh them twice a day for that first week. And then once a week thereafter to make sure everybody's, and then once a day through week 2. And then when we get into week 3, it goes to once a week, we weigh them. Because I want to know, is everybody gaining weight? Does everybody look plump and happy? If they're really noisy, they need something. So they're either cold, the bedding is dirty, or mom is not getting them enough milk. And those are things I can help mitigate, but I don't want to be the sole provider of those.
Right.
Because I'm not a mama dog, and they need her for that.
Fascinating.
So some people say, well, and they walk away once the delivery's done, and we don't do that either. We're here for the delivery because our dogs trust us. And Reba especially is really bonded to me. She's my heart dog. She sleeps in my bedroom. She lays on my lap. Every time I sit down, it's, she's my girl. And she actually went into labor after I had left for work. And my daughter called me in a panic and said, you have to get home. She's having puppies. And I did, because that's what we do. And as soon as I got there, she calmed right down, and we got down to the business of having 7 puppies. So
that is awesome. So
we midwife. We have.
So say you're like playing multiple roles here, because you help deliver probably, and you sometimes have to help nurture, and you train, right? I mean, I've seen some of your videos.
Yeah.
It's not just like, okay, now we've got puppies, let's make sure that they're fed. I mean, you actually do like some enrichment, stimulation, and training.
Oh yeah. We start from day 3. I always say day 1, but it's really, really limited, days 1, 2, and 3. And then after that, we start what's called ENS, early neurological stimulation, which the military uses for their super dog curriculum. And it stimulates blood flow and some really minor stress that increases blood flow to the brain and the organs. And it just makes a more resilient puppy in the end. So that's strictly kind of a medical side of things to do it. There's also ESI, which is, really
if you're on audio only, Cindy's getting some kisses right now.
Come on, baby. Early sensory input. I might be wrong on that one because I'm drawing a blank. But it's basically, it works up to a 10-point handling. Jack, quit playing. My God, you think we didn't have 40 acres for them to play on? But I made the mistake of sitting down in the yard, so you know where they are. It's a handling program so that we tend to not have puppies who don't like to have their feet touched, or who snap when you pull their ears or tug their tail, because we start on that before their eyes are even open. It's just normal life to them.
Yep.
Because as much, and the others, hi Reba. Excuse us.
My God, it's like they're labs. I'm telling you.
That's my heart dog. Yeah, she got her spot on my lap. She's good now. But we also, once the eyes open around 2 weeks, we start with sight desensitizing. So we have trash bags that get waved over their heads. We have umbrellas that open. We have anything you can imagine. We put a mirror in there because somebody said their dog was afraid of their reflection. So it's like, okay, I can address that early on in our curriculum. And then every day it's something different. When we hit 4 weeks and the ears open, we start desensitizing to common sounds that cause dogs stress and true anxiety when they grow up, because their life doesn't have to be that way. They just need somebody to teach them it's okay. And the easiest time to do that is before they have the fear.
That is just so amazing because, as somebody who has, got a dog from a breeder, and so many people do, we do, they always, of course, tell you, the socialization, the exposure to different sounds and touches, but you don't really think that all is starting way before we even come in contact with these pups. You're doing that already. Right.
That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, because at 4 weeks the ears are open, but the brains don't have fear. They don't have fear at 4 weeks old. They have no reason to. They're babies. All they've ever known is their whelping box and the 2 or 3 humans in my house. They have nothing to be afraid of. And so we imprint with the marker word yes. So when I introduce a new sound, if they startle, but then they still look to me for support or recover on their own or ignore it altogether, I give them a yes, good dog, yes, yes. And then they grow up thinking, oh, look at me, I'm a big bad dog because I got the yes. And so when they hear a noise, by the time we get into the 5th and 6th week, and I'm playing jet engines for the, trains and planes and automobiles and fire trucks and fireworks and anything you can possibly, combines, because we live in the middle of farm country. Yeah. They're like, oh, I heard that. And they're looking around for it. They're not afraid. They're not hiding. They're not stressing out. They're just like, ooh, what was that? And then you give them the round of yeses and sometimes a treat. And so when they go home, that's imprinted on the little puppy brain. And I send this paperwork with the people who get puppies here. And I've had feedback, a lot of them forget and they don't use it. But if you keep reinforcing the yes, and the puppy, puppy, puppy call, which is one of my favorites, you've got a tool for life. You've got the 2 best possible things you could have for a new dog. Puppy, puppy, puppy is an ingrained or imprinted recall from the moment I start feeding them. I'm telling them, puppy, puppy, puppy. And so something good always happens when they hear puppy, puppy, puppy. All the time, even if it's scratches on the ear or whatever, something grand happens with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get that one wrong too, where they think, especially dudes, where they, they're so just used to get over here, and I'm like, no, it's it's very excited and tends to work a little bit better too. Awesome. So you have people, they take their forever dog. Have you ever had anybody bring a dog back to you?
We did. I had one puppy came back to me.
Sad.
It was not his fault, and I consider it just as much my fault as the owner who brought him back. So they wanted an ESA, which is an emotional support animal. He really was made for that. So he has the right, we do temperament testing at 7 to 8 weeks old so that I know what they tend to do. And he met all of the markers to be an emotional support animal. But this was their first dog. They answered all the questions correctly. They've read books. They have done the research. They did everything that I asked them to check into. But when they came to pick up the puppy, the wife was afraid to walk through the kennel with the other dogs. And I had a moment because I thought, I don't know about this. And I let him go anyway. And they wanted to try. And I told them like 3 times. I say it once to everybody, but like 3 times. Like, if anything happens and you can't keep him, he can always come home.
Yep.
And they had a 2-hour drive home to New Jersey from Illinois. And, or sorry, not 2 hours, sorry, 2-day drive home to New Jersey from Illinois. Had him like a day and a half and called and said, this isn't working. I am so anxious trying to take care of this puppy that I can't handle it. So we drove to Ohio to meet them so they could do like an out and back all in the same day. So they didn't have to take 2 days to get here. So I drove over by Dayton or something like that. Met them partway and
well, that is dedication. I mean, again, that's just another, when people are looking into breeders, it's those kinds of things that are, I mean, above and beyond. Because unfortunately I mean, that you've only had one is amazing. It's such a testament to the work that you do, because, there are so many folks. I hear it all the time, and people getting, like, oh, we just got too busy for the dog, or it was too much for us. And you really do take the time to prepare, but also prepare your potential, your prospective, parents, your doggy parents that come in, which is amazing. Tell me a little bit about.
I don't mind. I don't mind it being somebody's first puppy. I mean, everybody needs to have the first one, to my opinion, because I'm a dog person.
Yeah.
That part doesn't worry me. But I do ask a lot more questions of people who've never had a dog, especially with this breed, because they're very energetic.
I think that's so prudent, because I've talked about, and I've had dogs before. I raised dogs for a couple of dogs for almost 15 years. My parents had dogs, but even this latest one, it was just like I just forgot. Right. So even if you've been there, I mean, you probably, have moments too, but I was like borderline, having puppy depression, because I was like, how am I not dealing with this well? And I was prepared. So I can only imagine somebody who has not ever even had a dog getting a dog, especially a dog that is, a very high energy and smart, right? There's so many things. So, it's great that you take the time and you do ask those questions, because you do want your dogs to go to good places,
well,
and prepare
you
people.
want the dog to be happy, and you want the people to be happy. And if that's where the temperament testing really is the ace of spades, you really you got to have that ace up your sleeve, because knowing what that dog needs, I can match them with the people who need that kind of dog. The simplified example is, if you want to go hiking every weekend, you don't want a couch potato who's going to lay down after 10 minutes.
Right.
And vice versa. If you want a couch potato, you don't want Rowan, for example, who is a fetching fool and will fetch for 8 hours at the nursing home and still want to go.
Yes.
It's a recipe for somebody not being happy.
Yeah.
And so the more you can match what they want and need with what the dog wants and needs, the better pairing you're going to get from that.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that you told us a lot about this great breed too, because I really had no idea what great family dogs they are. You just always think, well, they're really smart, they're very energetic, and you just have this sort of stereotype. She's so adorable. I can't even get over how beautiful she is. But she's so loving, and like, it reminds me of dealing with Moxie, my lab, where she's just she's very tactile, as my husband says. She just likes to be.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she's so pretty. She's so pretty.
So she's my touchy dog. Sky likes to lay with you, but she still thinks she's in charge. Hi, sweetheart. Reba, she's what we call people assertive. She does not have any desire to respect boundaries with people. She is people assertive.
Yeah.
Sky is people respectful, in that she'll come up and ask to join you on your lap or whatever. Reba, she might come flying over the back of the couch and land. She doesn't care.
Well, it's the funny thing is when you have strange people or different people or non-family people over, you can never win with either one, because if you have the respectful ones, they're like, well, come here, why aren't you come over here? And if you have the ones that are very, playful, and I'm just going to jump in your lap, then, they're like, wait a minute. So you can never can win anyways.
Yeah.
So I know you do some work outside of your breeding. Are you involved at all in rescues? I know you have one rescue that you recommend if people are looking for, if they're just decide they don't want to use a breeder or have an option.
Yeah. And this is fairly recent for me. I've honestly, the desire to help has been there for a very long time. The desire to help and offering to help has been there for a very long time. but it's very difficult to find a rescue who welcomes the help of a breeder.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them see us at cross purposes, and I do not. Because who better to help these dogs that have a problem than someone who knows the breed and understands what that dog
100%.
needs?
Yeah. I mean, I did a whole podcast about
right.
It's really misdirected, in my opinion, the anger that people get towards breeders, which you see manifest a lot in rescue type of sites online, social media. And it's really just misdirected, because if you look at, first of all, you are not the problem, and people going to breeders are not the problem. And it really misdirects from the core issues of why there are so many dogs in rescue. And it has nothing to do with breeders. It has to do with, you can go to any rescue site, and if they have any ounce of honesty, they'll tell you why that dog's there. And you see a lot of, we just got, it was too much for our family, too busy for our family, or somebody has a life situation, or right. It's a lot of unwanted breeding. It is, we didn't spay and neuter our pets. And so there's so many more reasons. So that's a great point that you make, that you're perfectly positioned to help with certain types of breeds very specifically, because you know a lot about them.
And I'll tell you, I had a jaw-dropping moment with the most recent foster dog that I had, and that was, we had just placed my foster dog Bella, and that's on the Facebook page if you want to check out her story. Her posts are scattered in there as well. She was a doll, and she is doing fabulously with her new foster mom way up north in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Which we drove almost 3 hours north, because her new mom was going to drive like 5 hours south, and it's like, okay, I'll come part way, because I don't want either one of you to have to drive that far. But right after we placed her, the rescue had someone contact them that they wanted a puppy. Well, they didn't have any puppies. All they had were adults in the rescue at that time. So they referred her to me as a breeder, because they knew that I had puppies. And to me, that's the perfect symbiotic relationship, the way it should be working.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm so used to being told no.
Yeah.
Because I've offered to help different people before, and I've been told no. Well, you're a breeder. Why would you want to do that?
Scourge of the earth. Yeah.
And I said, well, you know what? For the same reason that I want to help the puppies that I raise, dogs deserve better than what they got.
Amen to that.
So there you go. I mean, it's that simple. They deserve better than the situation that they're stuck in. The rescue that I work with is called the Midwest Australian Shepherd Rescue. And if you add .org after that, then you're going to find them on the web. So Midwest Australian Shepherd Rescue, awesome. MASR. If you search MASR in capital letters, you'll also find them on Google.
I'll throw them in the show notes as well. So for anybody who's
all right. They just took, I think their intake has been probably 25 dogs in the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Which is huge. They're not a big rescue. It's two ladies who have a full-time day job. They run this rescue, a network of volunteers in the evenings and on lunch hours and breaks and everything. All but probably two of them, they call them breeder surrenders, but they know it's a puppy mill surrender.
Yeah.
So I just want people to know that when they see that term on a rescue site, they cannot legally call these places puppy mills.
Yeah.
They can't legally say they're a puppy mill and should be shut down, because legally they can't.
Yeah.
So when you see breeder surrender, don't lump that with the rest of them like me, because my puppies are never going to end up there if I can do anything at all about it.
I appreciate that. And thank you for that work that you do too. So anybody who's interested, I will throw that link in the show notes. Cindy, it has been so great talking to you, but we cannot stop before I take you through the Zoomy round. So get ready.
All right.
We've already talked a little bit about this, but where do your pets sleep?
Pretty much wherever they want. One in my bedroom, one in my daughter's bedroom, one on the couch, one in the crate, because that's where he likes to. And Jack, I really don't know, because I find him all over the place.
So everywhere. Awesome. Do you feed your pets table scraps?
I do. They do.
Bless your heart.
Hey, as long as there's not too much salt or too much fat, and no artificial sweeteners,
That's what
I
we've
feed
done.
them.
We've been a little bit lax lately, and Moxie had some, like her bowel movements weren't great. So we said, okay, look, we're gonna, and plus if some dogs, they get a little like right up on you whenever you eat if you do that. So we pulled back, but if we had a little just roasted chicken or something that's not real processed, yeah, she gets it. So good.
Yep.
So clearly pets on furniture, yes or no? That's a yes.
Oh yeah.
Good for you. Good for
I
you.
spend way too much time with my with my hair remover lint mitt, but yeah.
You know what? I have tried every couch cover in the world and none of them really works. So the lint remover is the godsend. So
Well, I tell you, I found, and this is a shameless plug for Norwex. I don't know if you've seen Norwex products, but they have it's called a lint mitt,
oh,
but it is the bomb for hair. I kid you not.
I'm
It's
writing that down because I'm going to look that up. We have not gone through a hair cycle yet. We're getting there, and yeah,
whoa, hi. But yeah, so there's somewhere on my page, or rather, I know there's a link to a Norwex catalog that has, I think, that marked in it just because that's what we use. And the best part about it is that you use it over and over. It's not like the little rolly sticky ones.
Yep.
You swipe it all and then you brush the hair off into the trash and then you swipe again.
Brilliant.
And it takes up dust and dirt out of my sofa. I don't know how it does it, but it does, because when I get all the hair out, if I go outside and beat it out every now and then, I get dust that I've picked up too. It's insane.
I might try that on some other things too, honestly.
I adore it. And if like my husband comes in with outside dirt and gets it on his chair, and you take that and it scrubbies right off.
I'm gonna look that up because I need something like that. Have you ever investigated any of your dog's poop up close and personal?
Every day. Every day.
Now, do you do that because of you of course with your puppies, you probably want to know, is there, but do you ever have just occasions where you're like, I'm gonna check that out?
Yeah, if somebody's not acting right, or if I happen to be there and it's fresh, you bet I'm investigating, because there's some things that you can't tell unless you're there when it happens. And mainly less for like parasite control. Did they eat something strange? All that wonderful
I am
stuff.
with you. I have pulled on the rubber gloves many a time, and I have gotten right in there because you can learn a lot from your dog's poop. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, the standing joke amongst the breeders is it's not been a full day yet unless you've looked at the poop. So
love it. I love it. I love talking about poop. Are your pets Hoovers or grazers?
Hoovers, because we don't allow grazing.
Yeah.
We have too many to balance on who gets what and how much. And I want to make sure that everybody's got their stuff. So we have worked very hard to get everybody kind of synchronized so that they eat. And I know that you've eaten yours and you've eaten yours and so forth.
I imagine it's pretty much a dance. I know even when I had two dogs, they ate together and it was fine. But I had one who was very much a Hoover and the other one who probably could have been on his own a grazer because he just was like, whatever. But we had to kind of monitor that pretty closely so she wouldn't get into his meal. But
yeah, everybody's got their own bowl in their own place.
awesome.
We rarely lock everybody in their crates, but they're all crate trained except for Sig, and he knows place, so we just put him in the corner on his bed. But all of the smaller dogs are crate trained, and they have their spot, and that's where they eat. So if there is an issue, shut the door.
Yep.
Chill out. We'll try again later.
Yep. Do your pets have a favorite toy or a type of toy that they like to play with?
Yeah, they're all a little bit different. Probably the most predominant is Sigmund, the German Shepherd. He is in love with hedgies. I don't know if you're familiar with hedgies, but they're honking hedgehogs. Not the squeaky ones, not squeaky from Walmart. Yeah. these honk like geese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a hedgehog particularly, but we have 3 or 4 of the very deep kind of toys
Yeah. Yeah.
because I find them
That's
a
it.
little bit more tolerable than the high pitched
Absolutely.
squeaky ones are. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So every year for Christmas, Sid gets a new giant hedgie and
Oh,
he will carry it around. I mean, he literally will carry it to his bed when he's not playing with it to stash it, and the others are not allowed. And then
how
he'll get it out to
cute.
play with it or sleep on it, and then he puts it back in his bed.
That's
So
adorable.
yeah,
Oh, just like little kids. Do
yep.
you have
Rowan is anything that rolls. He's good for chasing.
I would imagine they probably are they do they do a lot of fetch?
Some do, some don't. Not every Australian Shepherd or many American is going to be a fetcher.
Yeah.
It's actually tied to their prey drive,
Oh,
how high their prey drive is. So
fascinating.
Rowan has really high prey drive. He would be getting in some serious trouble if somebody put him on a farm with no supervision. He'd be the one that kills the chickens
Oh
because
no.
they run and they make cool noises.
Oh sure, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he would be
Chase me.
all about that.
All but say chase me.
Yeah, yeah, they're just begging for it, Mom. Um, but Rowan's my fetching fool. He's down for it. Sky likes to go get it. She likes to chase it, but she doesn't like to bring it back.
Well, that's not
Reba,
bad.
if she's the only dog around, she will fetch for a little bit and be very happy. Jack will fetch occasionally. Just hi. Jack will fetch occasionally, but not all the time. He's got to be in the right mood for it, I suppose.
So do you have favorite nicknames for any of your pets?
Let's see. Sig is his actual name is Sig, Sig, but he gets called Sigmund Freud a lot because he's a nice attitude adjuster for people you don't want to show up. um, Jack, he just gets Jack. Jack. Hi. Oh, thanks. Jack, really. Sky gets called Sky Girl. Reba's Reba.
Aw.
Knock it off.
Do you ever call
Rowan
any
gets
of them
called.
little fucker? Because I do.
Oh yeah. Actually, yesterday. Sorry, this is crazy video there. Yesterday I hung laundry out of my line because I still put clothes out on the clothesline.
Good for
Um,
you.
like
They smell
jeans and
better.
blankets and
They smell
stuff.
better
And
when you do that anyway.
oh, they smell better. You get
Mm.
this. Yeah, I love them out on the clothesline. It's my sheets every time. I had just emptied the basket, thankfully, and this little brat walks up and pees on my basket. And
Uh-oh.
I said, "You little son of a bitch!
Little fucker.
You little son of a bitch!" I bopped him in the booty while he was still peeing. He squeaked and ran off, and he didn't talk to me for an hour.
So
But then he came back. Then he
who's
came back and made up.
oh there well, because in the moment. There you go.
Yep,
So who's the pack leader in your house?
Sky Girl, without a doubt.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's definitely the alpha, and they all look to her and ask permission.
That's amazing. Well, that's for anybody who doesn't think that the women can be in charge. Big myth, folks.
Oh yeah, huge myth. My boys are way easier going. Both both Jack and Rowan have been out doing therapy work. They go to the nursing home with me occasionally. Rowan more so
Oh,
than Jack. Than Jack now. And when we go, I loan Rowan to the physical therapy people because they want that large muscles, big muscle skills
yeah.
to throw the ball or comb him or whatever, and he's down for that. Jack's all about therapy, and he gets up there and lays down with them and hugs them. So
Oh,
they both have their place. Now the
awesome.
girls I wouldn't take because Reba is people assertive. She has no sense of decorum. Um, and Sky, she's like, I'd rather be in charge. I really don't want to do this.
Amazing. And who is the human that you've had to train the most?
The human, my husband. Absolutely. Reba's last litter.
Says every heterosexual woman that I've ever. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. His training was to always lock the back door because little miss here knows how to open our doors. We have lever handles
Oh wow. Ouch.
and yeah, she just jumps up, pulls the lever and uses her body weight to push the doors open. So we had a dual sired litter potential on her first litter because my husband didn't lock the door.
Oh, somebody went out and had a little fun.
Oh yeah. He calls me. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm having breakfast. What are you doing?" He's like, "Reba's on the pond dam with Jack." I was like, "What?" Yeah. So we had to play Who's Your Daddy? Maury Povich all over the place to see who's the daddy.
You are the father.
Jack, you are the father of all of the puppies.
Awesome. Well, Cindy, it has been so great talking to you. We could go on for about I've just a bazillion other questions. We'll have to do a second session. For anybody out there, I think one of the best ways to get in touch with Cindy is through her Facebook page, Myer Country Care for Pets on Facebook, and all of your information's there. But what is the other than that? Is there a good way to get in touch with you if anybody's interested in learning more?
No, Facebook is really the best. I mean, my phone number is there, my messenger is there. The new job does cut down on the messages that I can answer during the day because it's a prison and you can't take a cell phone in there. Yeah. So have a little patience with us for now. We do have a website. It's myerhome.com. Please don't send an urgent message through the contact form there because it gets routed through a couple of other places before it lands in my inbox. And we've had some take up to 3-4 days to show up, and I would hate for that to happen. But there are some dog pictures there. There's some more information there. There's information about my books. We've got George the Grasshopper, I Feel Great, which is a kid's book that's meant to be read by an adult to the kid about emotional literacy. And then there's also a puppy book about getting ready for your puppy, and it features Sky as a puppy on the cover.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, she was so adorable. She's still adorable, but she was just stunning as a tiny puppy. So getting ready for your puppy. There's a new edition of both of those books coming out probably summer of next year. And there's a sequel to George the Grasshopper in the works. I just have to have enough time to get all of that physical laying out taken care of. And I have all the illustrations back, so I got to finish that.
Awesome. And those books are available on your website, anywhere else that people can find those?
The URLs to get to Amazon are on that website.
Awesome.
Or you can search Myer and George the Grasshopper, and he's going to come up. So
awesome. That's Myer. I know there's a couple of different spellings.
Correct.
Awesome. Yep. Well, thank you so much, Cindy. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody else out there, for watching and listening. Now it's time for you to go play fetch or take a nap in a warm, sunny spot and take it easy. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for joining My Favorite Bitch, where we don't hold back about what it's like to raise that little fucker of a pet. We hope you had fun. I'm your host, Beth Ann Campbell, and you can reach me on Instagram or Facebook as TheBean67. That's TheBeann 67. And also on Instagram as Moxie Blue Yule. That's my dog's site. She insisted. I'm also on LinkedIn as Beth Ann Campbell. That's Ann with an E. And check out my YouTube channel, Beth Ann Campbell, where you can find this podcast and other fun videos on the playlist My Favorite Bitch. Remember, we are not trained dog professionals in any way, so please consult the real experts and do your research on anything you hear on this program. We barely know what we're doing. Now go give your pet some snuggles, and we'll catch you after a good nap and some tasty treats. My Favorite Bitch is produced by Beth Ann Campbell and is a product of Beth Ann Campbell, LLC. All rights reserved. Go fetch, Moxie. Good girl.